So you don't need to allow anyone to treat you any other way than what you believe you deserve, which is just kind of a roundabout way of saying we get what we ask for. How you view yourself and what you will tolerate will in turn allow people to treat you how you feel about yourself. That's why self-love is so important. You deserve to be loved correctly. You deserve to be spoken to correctly. Now, I'm not saying fight back, because there is no fight. A person's opinion of you is not who you are. It can't possibly be. They have no idea what you've went through, where you've been in your life, what you've endured, where you're going, what you're thinking, how you live. They have no clue, none. They have as much of a clue about you as you do about them. Now that's different from being discerning. Discerning is that person just robbed that store. I doubt we're going to get along. I doubt we're going to be buddy-buddy. That's just basic discernment. A judgment would be that person just robbed the store, so they're probably on drugs, and they probably have a prison record, and they probably had a horrible childhood, and all the nonsense. The thing is, we don't have anything to substantiate that. Nothing. We make these wild observations to make us seem smarter than we actually are. There's divine consciousness where a lot of information comes from, and I'm sure you've noticed that, especially in the spiritual community, a lot of things are repeated over and over again. There are a couple of reasons for that. First off, people don't retain information very well. That's a discernment. That's a basic observation. And the second is repetition builds understanding. That's why we go over the alphabet with our children so much, over and over and over again, until they memorize the little symbols, the letters, and with their sounds and with their shapes and all of that, to get them into a point where they just automatically know what an F looks like. So you want to be observant, but you don't want to really start out being observant of anyone other than yourself. If you can be aware of your triggers, of your belief patterns, of your weird little idiosyncrasies, the things that you do over and over again and don't understand why, it generally goes back to your childhood and possibly even generationally and even spiritually, your soul quest. So it's good to know yourself before you make any outside observations about anyone else, because then you're just guessing. But if you know psychological patterns, you can discern whether you need to be in this person's life or whether they need to be in your life or not. That's why we have such terrible marriages and relationships and family dynamics, is because we're just repeating the same things over and over again and hoping for different outcomes. So, like I said, in the spiritual community, you hear things repeated over and over again, and it's for good reason. First off, it's a more of a collective understanding. This information has always been here. It's not new. It's as old as humankind. It's just limited to, in the past, shamans, medicine men, witches, things like that. Now, it's more psychological. There's some science behind it. There's math behind it. Quantum physics is getting involved in it. We're understanding why we repeat these patterns so much for so long. So the collective understanding is that love is supreme. The only thing that kind of comes close to love, which is technically a little bit above love, is authenticity. But authenticity is a form of love. Telling the truth, being authentic to yourself and to the people around you, is a form of love. It's a form of kindness. So authenticity and love kind of go hand in hand. And there isn't much differentiation. So I'll say it again, the most important thing is self-love. Finding a comfortable, and I'm not talking about egotistical love, like I'm so great and I'm so amazing. I'm talking about I'm enough. I don't deserve disrespect. I don't deserve anger. I don't deserve mistreatment because of my kindness or because I was trying. You can't help anyone but yourself. You can't control anything out there. You can only control what's in here. And that's what we should really be concentrating on, but we never do. We want money and we want fame and we want the new car and the big house and all of the possessions that make us seem bigger than we all actually are. And there's nothing wrong with it. We're all on our own specific karmic journey based on all sorts of different variables and paradoxes and principles. So you can disagree with someone without an argument. You can say, I respectfully disagree. You can walk away. You can nod your head and go, sure, whatever, Val, and leave the situation and just don't go back. You don't have to put up with anything, and you don't have to be argumentative to get yourself out of it, because most arguments are ego-based. I'm right, you're wrong, period. And there is no exact right or wrong. There is only right or wrong based on the observation of the user, because truth is relative to the observer. We see things the way we see things because that's how we've always seen things. And that's where awareness comes in. The more aware you become of your patterns, your beliefs, the easier it gets over and over. It's a daily practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a long-term thing. It's like meditation. You don't just sit down and become enlightened or something, even if that's a thing. You meditate and you do it every day. And you practice self-awareness, self-reflection. I think it's Ramana Maharishi that was talking about that the biggest thing instead of meditating is just self-reflection. Why do I do that? Why do I get angry with that? Why does that make me sad? Why did this start off as a simple thought? I dropped my sandwich on the floor and now all of a sudden I've got 3 days of depression. It's because of the junk that we tell ourselves about ourselves. And it's a damn shame that a lot of us believe it. If someone talked to you the way you talk to yourself, you'd punch them in the face. I'm a pacifist by nature, so I don't condone that. But in the mundane sense of the phrase, that's what we would do. We wouldn't allow anybody to talk to us the way we talk to ourselves. My God. So why do you do it? It's not getting you anywhere. It's not making anything better. You're just a stressed out ball of mess. So fall in love with yourself. That is so important. And not egotistically. Fall in love with the thing that you really are, your higher self, your true nature, the thing that emblazons the passion that makes you want to move forward. Because if we didn't have that, we would all be willy-nilly knocking ourselves off because there would be no purpose. But the purpose is to live your life in the most exciting way that you possibly can fathom. And in that is the mystery of life, the meaning of life. Love yourself first so you can love others equally. Because we're all the same thing. looking through different eyes. Again, as always, much love.